Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're looking way past the pretty aesthetics of traditional cartography. We're going to explore maps, society, and the crazy secrets they actually hide. Let's dive right in. Think about what a map is fundamentally designed to do, right? It's supposed to show us exactly what's there. But I want to pose a question to you right off the bat. What happens when a map reveals more than it's supposed to? Like, what happens when the very act of trying to hide top secret information on a map is the exact thing that exposes it to the entire world? Section 1. Mapping Myths and Knowledge. To really understand the modern stakes of mapmaking, we kind of need to look at our history first. Maps aren't just strict geographic tools for measuring distance and elevation. They're actually profound reflections of our cultural imagination. Take a look at the details on this World of Cryptids map. Instead of charting, capital cities and trade routes, societies have historically mapped their local myths, legends, and fears right onto the physical geography. From the chupacabra down in the Americas to dragons across Europe and Asia, we've always projected our inner cultural narratives onto the outer physical world. So, the absolute crucial point here is that maps chart our minds just as much as our physical world. We use the language of cartography, borders, regions, pathways, to give structure to abstract thought. We literally try to map the intangible. And look at how far we take that concept. This is a map of the system of human knowledge. It's effectively a tree of knowledge, illustrating how society attempts to organize human thought itself into distinct navigable regions like memory, reason, and imagination. By mapping these concepts out, society tries to create this structured landscape of our collective intellect. It's pretty wild. Part 2. Where human society flourishes. But of course, human society isn't just built on myths and abstract reasoning. Stripping away the abstract to look at cold, hard reality, you can see the surprisingly narrow bands of land, highlighted here in green, where human civilization has historically been able to thrive. It's honestly a stark reminder of our vulnerability. All our complex societies, all our grand histories, are tightly constrained by what the Earth actually allows. And what exactly are those constraints? Well, it comes down to a highly specific mean annual temperature range, 11 degrees Celsius to 15 degrees Celsius. That's roughly 51.8 to 59 degrees Fahrenheit. Historically, this narrow window provides the optimal living conditions for agricultural stability and societal flourishing. Step outside this zone, and survival suddenly becomes a massive uphill battle. But here is where the story shifts. Historically, as we just saw, our maps and our lives were dictated by natural climates and physical geography. But today, we live in the era of digital maps. And digital maps aren't just dictated by nature, they are actively manipulated by human politics. We've moved from maps shaped by the Earth to maps shaped by state control. Section 3. The Politics of Blank Spaces. Welcome to the modern era, where governments are actively forcing tech companies to alter satellite imagery. Let's look at some real-world examples. In France, the government formally asked Google to obscure all imagery of its prisons. Why? Because back in 2018, a French gangster pulled off a literal Hollywood-style jailbreak, using drones, smoke bombs, and a stolen helicopter. You really cannot make this stuff up. Similarly, the Netherlands has these old laws that require Dutch companies to blur out satellite images of their military and royal facilities. It's basically a localized attempt to enforce a digital blind spot. Sometimes this censorship is actually baked right into international law. Take the Kyle Bingham Amendment, or KBA for short. This is a 1997 U.S. law prohibiting U.S. companies from publishing satellite imagery of Israel better than a 2-meter resolution. This institutionalizes what analysts call blurriness. To give you some context on that, on a standard high-res digital map of downtown Toronto, you can literally see a bicycle parked on the sidewalk. But because of this law, downtown Jerusalem is legally reduced to a wash of blurry pixels. Now, to a satellite imagery analyst, that digital manipulation is glaringly obvious. Notice the digital artifacts here, these altered blocks and smears, where the data has been artificially obscured. It's not natural cloud cover, right? It's a deliberate human intervention to create a blank zone. Part 4. The Streisand Effect on Maps. And this brings us to the incredible irony of modern map censorship. For those who might not know, the Streisand effect is a phenomenon where an attempt to hide, remove, or censor information has the unintended consequence of actually increasing awareness of that exact information.
The term comes from 2003, when Barbra Streisand sued a photographer to remove a totally innocuous aerial photo of her Malibu mansion from the internet. Before the lawsuit, the photo had been viewed like 6 times. A month after her attempt to censor it, over 420,000 views.
Now let's apply that to global military intelligence. Let's trace how the Russian mapping service Yandex Maps accidentally revealed some of the world's most guarded secrets. Step 1. Yandex agreed to selectively blur specific sites beyond recognition, but only for 2 countries, Israel and Turkey. Step 2. Strangely, they left all Russian military sites completely unblurred. Step 3. Curious open-source analysts noticed this highly selective, localized blurring, so they started actively hunting down the obvious artificially blurred patches. The sheer scale of this blunder is absolutely staggering. Analysts hunting through Yandex Maps found that over 300 distinct facilities were accidentally flagged by these obvious localized blurs. By trying to hide them, Yandex essentially put a giant bright neon marker on 300 highly sensitive locations.
Open-source analysts exploit these obvious blunders using a method called tipping and queuing. Basically, they take the obvious, completely blurred shape from Yandex and they overlay it with older or slightly downgraded, unblurred imagery available elsewhere. By doing this, they can actually map the precise perimeters, layouts, and function of these hidden bases with terrifying accuracy.
So what exactly did these blurs reveal? The list includes some highly sensitive geopolitical targets. We're talking about 4 Israeli Patriot missile batteries, the Allied Land Command in Izmir, which is a major NATO facility, and perhaps most astonishingly, the Incirlik Air Base, which is known to host US B-61 nuclear gravity bombs. All of these were pinpointed precisely because someone made the deliberate effort to blur them out. So, the absolute crucial point is perfectly summarized by this quote right from our source text. Complying with requests to selectively obscure military facilities actually revealed their precise locations, perimeters, and potential function. The ultimate irony of our digital mapping age is that the act of digital censorship literally acts as a giant neon arrow pointing directly at state secrets. We've journeyed from ancient maps tracking imaginary monsters to climate maps defining our survival, all the way to modern digital maps accidentally highlighting nuclear arsenals. It completely changes how you view the phone in your pocket, doesn't it? So I'll leave you with this provocative thought. When you open a digital map today and look at the world, what are you not seeing? And what is that empty space really trying to tell you? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning the blank spaces.